Namaste,
Namaste.
hero. First of all, why do you think yoga is important?
Yoga is just a lifestyle.
When you have done it for so many years, do you think there's a big shift?
With yoga being a journey and a lifelong journey, I've had many injuries during my practicing and my teaching.
How do you think someone can change their mindset?
It's definitely the environment that you're in. The friends you hold also carry a lot of energy.
Most people are sad these days. I see a lot of people because of social media and Namaste,
Namaste.
hero.
How are you?
I'm good. You're the hero of this podcast today. How do you feel?
Amazing. A little nervous, but my first podcast.
Wow, super happy. Happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
So, well, it was a magical day near Abu Dhabi where we met, where we are doing some crazy things, which is not so crazy, which is normal. I believe it should be normalized. So, we were doing laughter yoga
Yes.
and we did eye gazing meditation and cacao ceremony and whatnot. So many other things. I would like to start to know by your story about where did you come from, how did you land in Dubai? Tell us more about you.
Well, Maddie, I just want to say, first of all, that was the first time I met you. And I just want to highlight how beautiful your energy is. And it was uplifting for me in that environment because standing in front of about 160 people and trying to make people laugh is a little intimidating. And you were like my little mascot. You were so joyful and you just made me feel a little more comfortable. And it is challenging to almost make people laugh when you're not a comedian or you don't tell jokes, but in a kind of forceful way to begin. And then it becomes a little more natural afterwards. So I want to thank you for your energy because maybe I couldn't have done it without you.
Thank you so much. No, you're a magician. Wow.
So yeah, I'm from South Africa. I've been living in Dubai for 21 years. And I've seen Dubai change a lot, and more wellness is evolving even into Abu Dhabi, which is great. And that's where we met at the Cacao Festival, and it was a beautiful experience. Laughter yoga was my session with an eye gazing meditation. The eye gazing is deeply transformative, where we sit and gaze into each other's eyes for a prolonged period of time. I guide you through a meditation and then we sit in silence. And the idea behind it is really just to peer into the eyes of a stranger or a partner or a newfound friend and just see what comes up for you. I think it is a very vulnerable experience, but it creates unity and compassion for people around you. We're all just humans trying to navigate our way through life, which can be difficult. And in silence, we sit and we accept the person in front of us and all their challenges. And I think it's just a beautiful way of connection. And it can be a roller coaster of emotions where a lot of tears or maybe nervous laughter comes up. But eyes are the windows to the soul. So you can sometimes see without having to speak.
So true. So true. I would like to dive into these both topics, starting from, let's say, eye gazing, right? I remember that time I had a partner who was around 42 and he was an Egyptian and he had his very nice lifestyle of working and make everything just following the normal daily patterns. And then when he was trying to look me into the eyes and he was like closing and then he was looking down, I was like, no, it's okay, like then he's like, it's my first time to ever do this. I was like, it's also my first time. But let's just, So it was very fascinating. I've done so many other experiences, so that was I was like very comfortable with it. But I think by the end of it, he transformed a lot, and he was like, "I really love it." Like he was blown out with his expression. I was like, I saw him like blown out. Is like, wow, I'm happy for this experience. So I'm thanking you for that first of
Thank
all,
you.
because
Yeah.
you're changing people's life.
It's just something to sit with silence, and sit with a friend in silence can be transformative. You don't have to say anything. You can just gaze into their expression on their face, whether they're struggling with the experience or not. It's almost like mental telepathy, where you can be the stronger person in the two of you, holding space for the other. And then sometimes it changes where you then feel a little bit emotional, whether it's for that person or inside yourself, where it changes from who holds the strength between that bond, even if it's just for 20 minutes. And it's something beautiful, and definitely something that people are not used to, and they step out of their comfort zone.
That's so true. And how long have you been practicing this yourself or teaching this, the eye gazing?
Well, I've been teaching full time for 10 years now.
Wow.
And the eye gazing was something I did when I first did my very first training, where we sat in silence. And I just thought, this is something that transformed me. It was my first time doing it. And I wept for no reason. I didn't even know why I was weeping.
Wow.
It was just something that I felt I'd overcome, sitting with a stranger and being vulnerable enough to show my tears or my sadness and have them support me in a way.
Wow, this is amazing. And what do you think it's also the rewiring of the brain when we are into this process?
Definitely, you sitting with someone that is nervous, shy, maybe you've never met before. Sometimes I think it's even more challenging if you do know the person and the story behind their eyes, but rewiring their brain to be okay with the comfort of another human being just supporting you and being next to you. Nobody wants to be alone, and nobody wants to feel alone on this journey, this human journey where we're all just spiritual beings. You know, you are my soul brother, I am your soul sister. So it's that form of unity which just makes us think outside of the box and rewire our brain to thinking that we're not alone and we can do this no matter what the circumstances are.
Wow, I love it. And talking about the laughter meditation, how tough is it for someone to laugh? I've seen for the first time like out there, because usually when jokes are cracked, it's easy to laugh, but otherwise you're like, you know. But it was a special day where I saw everyone laugh. Like it took a time, but then everyone was like into the process. So what do you think, why first of all most people are sad these days? I see a lot of people, because of social media and xyz reasons, they are like into this. How can you tell them to change that habit and embrace this?
I think a lot of people keep things in. They suppress their emotions, whether it's, you know, not letting it out through crying or screaming or laughing or dancing or movements. They suppress themselves. I think during COVID, we all had a taste of that, where we were isolated and we were forced to be silenced. And since COVID, I think a lot more people are coming to terms with trying new experiences where they can connect and be a little more open to their emotions and their feelings. So sitting with someone, and the process is really doing different activations to express yourself. Voice activations, movements, and some pranayama breathing. And then we start with some forced laughter, which isn't easy, standing in front of so many people and trying to make them laugh. But I encourage them that it is a forced laughter to begin. And they might think that you look insane or silly,
Which we all are.
but they will smile and they'll kind of shake their head, and then they might start laughing at you, and it becomes contagious, and it's a ripple effect, it's beautiful.
Wow. When I see this experience, I just think every family should like get like 5 to 10 minutes when they are all together and do this practice. It will be like a family therapy.
Exactly. No need for going to therapy or calling a doctor or even calling a best friend. You can even do it in front of a mirror, or I've seen some people do it to get out of their comfort zone at a mall, just walking around and bursting into laughter. There's different exercises you can do, like we did at the festival, where we use different vowels like A or O. So something like O would be or the letter H. Just something absolutely silly, but it gets you to use your voice and get out of that stuck feeling that emotions are often trapped in the body. So you want to release them, especially if you've gone through any kind of trauma or sadness. So we want to bring out this childlike joy, and everybody wants to be happy. Everybody wants to laugh. So practicing it, it becomes easier and easier.
So great, so great. I remember when I used to be young, I used to walk to the gardens and I used to see the uncles in India. They used to do like this, ha 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 ha, ha, a lot. And I was like, huh? But today I'm like
What
that.
are they doing?
Yes, which is now very much funny. What do you think is like the origins of this laughter therapy?
It definitely started in India, where it was a physician, a doctor that created it. And it was with his friends in the park, actually, where he just sat and he was telling jokes. And then he thought, this is therapy. This is therapy for me, and it's therapy for my friends. So this is where it originated, and it's definitely moved across the world because it has such joyful benefits.
That's amazing. That's super good. And when we talk about these things, I think these are just the little bits of what you do, but you have been like an expert in yoga. So many years you have been training yourself, practicing, and also teaching. Tell us more about it. First of all, why do you think yoga is important?
Yoga is just a lifestyle, first of all. It is a choice that you decide to take, a lifestyle journey. Yes, there's physical asanas which make you feel great physically. There is meditation which helps your mind and your mental well-being. And then there's the spiritual aspect. Many people come to yoga through different avenues, but as a whole, it's just a lifestyle choice that changes your life, your outlook, makes you feel a little more whole and purposeful. Like, why am I here? There's always the deeper questions. Why am I doing this? Do I want to get abs? No, that's not the purpose. Do I want to, distract myself from what's going on around me? It's just about coming back to yourself and really asking bigger questions. Why am I here? What is my purpose? And this is what's beautiful about yoga. It's something that it can be a lifelong journey. You can do it when you're older, when you have an injury, when you're pregnant, and it's a journey for the mind, body, and the soul.
Wow, super interesting. And I'll tell you that I have been practicing yoga for the last 15 days daily non-stop. And that
Well
clicked.
done.
Thank you. Yeah, non-stop. Like I'm like happy because what happened is I was invited to a yoga class and I did, and it like changed my life. Like I was doing when I was growing up, it was great. But when everyone, your parents are saying do this, do that, you don't want to do it.
No.
But when
The rebellious
exactly
side.
exactly, and now here the other day I was invited, I just did, and it was like magical experience. And then there was this biohacking thing where I checked all of my hands, and then there's something attached to my head, and it told me that I should practice more yoga. And then I was like, okay, this is a sign. And since then, I've been doing like 40 minutes of yoga every day. And I really feel that it is leveling me up, but it's a very slow progress that I can't see. But it's internal growth. That's what I believe. What do you think about it?
Well, I think when you move your body and quiet your mind at the same time, you produce a lot of beneficial hormones in the brain. So oxytocin, which is the love hormone, melatonin, which is the relaxing hormone, dopamine, the happy hormone. So all these hormones are produced when you're doing something therapeutic. Now, of course, there is yoga, which is power yoga, or Ashtanga yoga, which is very yang and very dynamic, and it can increase your heart rate and build strength. But ideally, we want to quiet the mind as well during the practice, and that's what makes you step into your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your body's response to rest and recovery. And when we're in our sympathetic nervous system, our body is in fight or flight mode. And then we're producing hormones like cortisol and adrenaline, which on a daily basis, for example, if you have deadlines and office job and you're stuck in traffic and it takes you hours to do anything and you've got calls and you just live in the typical maybe Dubai lifestyle rat race, you are on the long term, if this happens over years, you're producing too much of these negative hormones in your body. So when you step into a yoga class, you are using your breath to calm your nervous system down, to slow your heart rate down. Even when you're doing those more yang style active yoga classes, they train you to breathe deeper and slower, which then in turn, even though your body is moving fast, your mind is slowing down. So you connect more to that parasympathetic nervous system, which gives you all those great feelings. So it might start off small, but it's that, and you might not notice it, but it's those sensations within that are a little more positive than just stuck in that go, go, go mentality.
Wow. Yes, exactly. I think it will take me to a level now. I want to ask you, you have been doing since so long, and where are you right now in your stage of life when you have done for so many years? Do you think there's a big shift?
So with yoga being a journey and a lifelong journey, I've had many injuries during my practicing and my teaching, and life changes. You get a little bit older, your practice changes, your teaching changes as well. Definitely slowing down now is something that's super important to me. When I first started teaching, I was doing a lot of hot yoga classes, up to 7 a day. I was practicing a lot of handstand workshops. I was really just over exaggerating the practice. And I got injured and I had to slow down. I had a slip disc in my neck, which as a teacher, then your career kind of comes to a stop, where you can't demonstrate anything and you just have to use your voice and observe. So this was very challenging, but it changed my mindset a little bit, where I was like, well, yoga is not actually just about the physical part. I need to then step into a more restorative style of yoga, which was yin yoga. And this was something that I found a huge passion for. I was forced into it. It wasn't my choice of style of yoga in the beginning, but now it's my absolute favorite. And it's a slow down approach, a meditative approach to yoga, where you hold the postures a little bit longer. So anywhere between 1 minute and 5 minutes in one pose on one side. So maybe one posture left and right would be a hold of 10 minutes. So really you're working into deep connective tissue, flexibility, and fascia, whereas the other styles are much more fast-paced and quick. But through my journey of being injured and having to slow down, this is where I am now. Just taking a different approach to the way I teach, the way I see things, and maybe a little bit more maturity as I grow up.
Which is quite fascinating, because I think what normal people like mindset they have is like they do something over the time a lot, and then maybe if they get injured they're like, no, this is not for me, and they would just exclude yoga. But then you found another way to still continue it, so that is amazing, I think.
Yeah, there's so many different lineages to yoga, and that's why it's important to find a teacher that you resonate with, whether it's their voice or the way they cue things or the style of yoga that they teach, because it's just so vast and so big. Which style of yoga did you practice?
So to be frank, I was just doing a YouTube video where it was written 40 minutes all body yoga for all people.
So all inclusive, which is great.
Yeah, which is great. So I would like to ask, who's your inspiration?
I think I have inspiration from different kinds of backgrounds. So, you put me on the spot.
No, it's okay. So anyone that you idolize in terms of like, okay, their approach to yoga is amazing and you really love it?
There's so many though. There's so many. I love the more traditional style of yoga. I feel that in Dubai it becomes a little bit more commercial and it becomes almost the trend, and there's studios opening everywhere. But any kind of teacher that brings a little bit of authenticity into their practice, and their teaching. So I was practicing with a beautiful teacher called Fatima. She's just recently left Dubai, but she had a true essence of the traditional yoga. I've also just done a course in Sanskrit, which was also bringing me back to the roots and traditions of yoga, so I can chant the different mantras in my practice. So Eloise is the teacher that I just did my training with, and she was in an ashram for 3 years in India. So I choose these teachers to look up to that hold the essence of true traditional yoga.
Wow, this is very interesting. So this is a very nice topic as well, because if someone is here in Dubai and they really want to explore and understand what is the best person or organization for them, I think it is this answer, that is, you need to see people who are in their true own essence, and also who have practiced for good time and not just preaching. I think that is what you mean, right?
Exactly. They come with the knowledge and they come with the experience of being in the practice, whether it's in India where this all originated from, or traveling there to further their studies, but really embodying the essence of what it truly means to be a yogi and to teach the tradition of the practice.
Wow, this is interesting. I remember my school days, there was this basketball teacher and he used to tell, okay, do this, do that, but he never knew how to play the basketball. So that's great. Let's talk about meditation. Do you practice meditation, and which kind of meditation? I would love to know.
Of course, I practice meditation. I try and bring it into all my teachings. I love adding in guided meditation at the end of my yoga practice in Shavasana. Although Shavasana is usually 5 minutes, I try and extend it for about 10 minutes.
People must be loving for you. Loving it.
It's the best part of yoga. But I've done a 10-day Vipassana course before, which is life-changing.
Oh, yes.
Because it's 10 days of silence, no eye gazing, no pleasures really, no enjoyments of sweets or salts or spices. The food is very bland. You can't speak at all for the 10 days, and you have to sit in meditation for 10 hours a day for the 10 days. You have breaks of lunch and dinner, but ideally you're just sitting in meditation. And this is seen as the boot camp of meditation. But when I did Vipassana, it was deeply transformative. The things that come up for you sitting in silence is really beautiful. You get to analyze how you think and when you judge and if you should be judging at all. I'll tell you a little story. There was a girl, so when I did the Vipassana course, there was 110 people, and I thought, coming from a yogi background, it will all be girls. When I got there, it was 60% men, actually.
Wow.
There were homeless people, there was a monk, there was businessmen, and then there was just a community of mix and match people. And it was absolutely beautiful. The girls were divided from the boys, but we all sat in a hall on the floor. Some people that had limitations had chairs, but we had to prop ourselves up with cushions. And by the end of the first day, I think I was sitting on about 10 cushions just to get comfortable, because it's so hard to sit cross-legged for such a long period of time. But when we braked for lunch, I remember a girl taking her food. So we sit in a hall and we sit against the wall because we can't speak to anyone. So it's a table where we eat our food, and we're pretty much 30 centimeters against the wall. And I started eating and I thought, wow, this is so depressing. I can't say pass the spoon, or I can't look at someone and say, are you enjoying your meal? Can't make any conversation at all. So I decided to take my food and sit outside in the nature. And I saw a girl climbing up a tree and eating her food up high in the tree. And I thought to myself, my first instinct was, she is not taking this very well. She's probably having a very hard time. I need to sit here and watch and make sure she doesn't jump out of the tree. And then I started thinking, but why am I judging? Why am I criticizing her different perspective? She's got an eagle eye view. She's looking at the mountains and she's enjoying the fresh oxygen up there. Maybe she's got the right idea, and everybody else who's in the hall not speaking and not making eye contact, maybe they're going through the hard time and she's having a lovely experience in nature. So it just made me think of things a little bit differently.
Wow, this is fascinating. Oh my God. I really want to do this Vipassana. I actually had a time frame planned for it, but it didn't happen. And right now I'm like, I need to do so many things, but now I'm going to take out this time. This is a very nice, I think, thought, and also that I should take care of in my vision right now, the near one, to do this.
It's life-changing. A lot of people cure things from going to Vipassana. So they cure addictions or any kind of stress that is playing on their mind mentally. It's a way of forcing yourself to sit with your thoughts, and a lot of people don't like to sit in silence. The same as the eye gazing. They will turn around. I think there was even 1 or 2 people in our session that left because they couldn't handle sitting with their emotions. People suppress that so much. So I think it is something that will be really beneficial for you to just sit and understand where your trains of thoughts are going and what's coming up.
So I think by the end of it, you might be able to make your thoughts very reasonably according to you.
Yeah, I think everything becomes more clear. Your sound becomes more clear. Your taste becomes more clear. And for sure, your thoughts are pure and clean, because you sometimes, I went on a diet before just to cleanse and purify internally. but you naturally cleanse your thoughts by sitting there. Everything becomes more pure, more clean, and you make better choices because you don't want that clutter in your life. You don't want the process of overthinking and worrying for no reason. So definitely, you have precision thought. Even when we came out of Vipassana, they said to us, be mindful of the first words you say to someone, because you haven't spoken for 10 days and that silence can be deafening. Think about what you want to say and the vibration of your words. Is it a higher vibrational frequency or is it a lower vibrational frequency? Is the first thing you're going to say, oh my goodness, that was the hardest, hardest moments of my life? Or you're going to be grateful for that experience?
Wow, wow. And this brings me to a lot of the people right now. I've seen they choose a lifestyle which is with alcohol, all the youngsters making through the social media or this or that. But now I think now the community has grown so differently. I think there should be challenges where, okay, 10 days Vipassana, let's do this, let's do that. I think that's the way to help each other grow. I think that's the new way of being.
And I think Dubai's community is very, very much a lifestyle driven community where the teenagers are going to the gym and there's so many wellness experiences out there to choose from. It's limitless. So more and more people are choosing a healthy path, and I think that's absolutely beautiful. But like you said, when you are forced into something, especially as a teenager, you feel a little bit rebellious and you want to make that decision for yourself to do it. But it helps when the community is offering these kind of experiences for, younger generation as well.
How do you think someone can change their mindset to that? Like being a rebellious person to, okay, I want to experience this or that. How do you think someone can switch to that different mode?
It's definitely the environment that you're in. The friends you hold also carry a lot of energy. So awareness of the people you choose around you, and awareness of how it makes you feel. You know when your energy is being drained by someone, and it's to make a conscious choice of, hey, this person's not lifting me up, they're actually pulling me down, and I'm making bad choices because of it. So first of all, like meditation, awareness is the first step into making better choices for life. Awareness of how you feel around certain people. It's the same as food. You know that processed food is not going to make you feel good. Are you going to choose it or are you going to choose the apple instead? It's just, that that's the better choice. And the more you choose the better choice, the better you feel.
So true. So the guys, go out there, meet amazing people, do good things, be surrounded by good people, make great choices for yourself. I think these are the important things in today's day and age.
The key to living a happy life.
Happy life, yes. And what do you think? Why is this happening? Like the shift in Dubai, particularly because of more people coming, these wellness experts coming to Dubai, or is it a different kind of wave? What do you think brought this?
It's definitely booming. 20 years ago, there was maybe 4 or 5 yoga studios in Dubai, and now there's over 50, which is amazing. There's more and more festivals, there's more and more experiences. Going on a boat trip and there's yoga or sound healing on the boat trip. So many day retreats. Dubai is a hub for so many different things, but I think they are boosting the wellness, which is something that I see. Even the sheikh, he puts a lot of money into, for example, jiu-jitsu, the wellness industry. And so many people are practicing and trying to boost their health. I think Dubai has seen a lot of obesity, and pushing a more healthy lifestyle choice is definitely seen around. the Middle East, which is great.
Which is great. We are happy we are at the right place. Wow, great. And about sound healing, you're also into sound healing. Tell us more about what do you think about it and what does it like do on a human body impact?
So sound healing for me is an easy way to meditate. There's so many different forms of meditation, but sound healing is a way to not only drop into a different brainwave state, but also to lie down and relax, a little bit like yoga nidra. I always start my sound healing with yoga nidra, which is moving the mind systematically through the body. So a step-by-step scan of the body, relaxing from your toes and very patiently moving up to the crown of your head. And if you suffer from insomnia, I think this is a nice way to relax before you go to bed if you are overthinking and struggling to sleep. So we move from yoga nidra then into sound healing, which the resonance and the vibrations of the bowls can not only be heard but also felt. If we do a one-on-one session, we place the bowls in different parts of the body or the tuning forks, and you can feel the vibration. We are 70% water, so we are very good conductors of energy, and we want to balance out our energy. Especially, we use the Tibetan bowls, which are correlated with the 7 chakras, and the 7 chakras are correlated with different organs or systems of the body, so circulatory system. So if you are, or musculoskeletal system. So if you're out of sync in, say, your heart chakra, which is connected to love and compassion and forgiveness, say you've suffered a loss, then we would work on your heart chakra. I would use the heart chakra bowls. I would either place them on your chest or on your back, and you would feel the vibrations, and it's meant to calibrate any kind of energy that is a little bit low and bring it into a neutral position and relax you at the end of the day.
Wow, super interesting. Yeah, again, I think this should be in every family where the son is doing to the mom and mom is doing to the son.
I even do it to my puppy.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
He loves it. Even cats, I've seen a lot of my students, because I do sound healing training, and a lot of my students in the bigger Tibetan bowls, they will place their little kittens. I remember even once I was doing a sound healing session outside, and there was a butterfly that landed in my sound bowl. And every time I strike the bowl, the butterfly would shake with the vibrations, and then it would calm down. And I would strike the bowl again, and it would almost vibrate with the bowl and relax again after, which I thought was absolutely beautiful.
Wow. How we all are so connected, like human beings, animals. What do you think connects us all?
Energy at the end of the day. For example, my little puppy, he doesn't speak English. He speaks dog language, right? So he knows if I'm angry, if I'm shouting at him, or if I'm using a certain tone or a certain body language. It's energy. They can feel the energy of a different soul, maybe not a dog soul, but a human soul, any kind of animals, even plants. We're all connected energetically.
So true. And after these many years, what's your routine looking like? When do you wake up, and what other practices do you do?
So I have many sessions a week. So at the moment, I'm on about 21 sessions a week. So my weekly schedule is very busy. I try my best to filter in some self-practice for myself as well as meditation. But events are very popular. Sound healing is very popular. Cacao ceremonies are very popular. But it's most important to have a self-practice before you only give your energy, you need to replenish yours as well too.
So true, so true. And when you say cacao ceremony, let's talk about that. What is it exactly? To be frank, like first time when I was like hearing it's the ceremony, I was like, wow, which like apart from plant medicine, like what is this interesting going on? Which then later I was like, okay, but it was still interesting. So I would like you to highlight on the fact what does it exactly happen?
So a lot of people do it simultaneously with plant medicine, but you can do it by itself. So a lot of practices in Dubai offer cacao with ecstatic dance or cacao with yin yoga or sound healing. It is using the sacred cacao plants as a medicine. It has theobroma in it, which is different to normal hot chocolates. And this is known as a heart opener. So it opens up the heart artery, so more blood flow is received to the heart, which allows you to have a more profound experience, a more loving experience, a more nurturing experience. What we do in my sessions is we sit with the cacao and we set an intention, whatever it may be. We close our eyes and we put that intention visually into the cacao. We either say a prayer or we say an intention, and then we drink, visualizing that going into our body. What's beautiful about cacao is the ancient Mayans and Aztecs used to use it in ceremony, usually around a fire, and it was reserved for the philosophers and the poets and any kind of royalty elites, but only for men. So women and babies, children were not invited to these ceremonies. And they believed, it's called the food of the gods. So they believed that by drinking this intention, they would have almost superpowers. Like the yogis have CDs or superpower beliefs, whether it's mental telepathy or levitating. I don't know if they really levitated, but we can say on an emotional level, they maybe levitated to a different space where they possibly thought more clearly, they could manifest things into their lives. And I think that's the important part of it, setting an intention for what you want to draw into your life. Because the power of the secret is not just thinking or saying I want something, but visualizing it and putting a feeling towards it, a happy feeling, an excited feeling or a proud feeling. And then that starts to manifest in your daily life because your choices are then aligned and moving forward with it.
Wow, very beautiful.
Yeah, so we sit in a circle and we share and we enjoy the cacao, which is a ritual from many, many centuries ago, but a nice way to bring into the modern world.
That's great. And apart from cacao, so we were talking about plant medicine. What do you think? What's your opinion on that?
I think plant medicine is a great asset to help on a spiritual journey. As long as you've prepared mentally for it, if you've chosen it, or if it's chosen you. So if you see it pop up and maybe you're watching this podcast and it's the third time in a month that you've heard this word, maybe it's something to look at. Maybe it's calling you and you're not calling it. But it is, I would say, an accelerated journey into a meditative state. And the ancient sadhus in yoga at least say you shouldn't accelerate a meditative state. For example, the Buddha or any kind of ancient yogis, they said you need to do the work and sit in meditation until you reach samadhi. Now, plant medicine gets you there a little bit quicker. And I think in today's pace of life, it's okay if you are on that journey to be awakened. I think it's something beautiful, but definitely something that you need to really research and prepare yourself for. The intention you want to set before you go into that ceremony, because it can be very overwhelming once you're there.
Oh my God, so true, so true. I remember one of the ceremony I had, and I don't know, somehow I got up and I started to dance, but I saw everyone crying, and I'm like, why am I dancing?
Why should I be dancing when
Yes,
everybody's sad?
exactly. Like I was feeling bad, but then I understood that's me, like out of joy as a person who I am. And the next time I was like, I put up the book and I started to write something, and I was just smiling, writing, and I was like, okay, that's great. I think I've lived very many past lives, and that might be the reason that I've like grown spiritually, which was interesting to know. Those people who told me about it. So I was like, wow, very fascinated.
And there's a lot of people that do plant ceremonies that go for trauma recovery. So when I went on my first one, we came from a big group from Dubai and we traveled to the ceremony. And there were a lot of people with heavy, heavy, heavy trauma. And they went on the ceremony with the intention to heal, but their ceremony was actually very, very dark and very traumatic, and they relived their childhood trauma in the ceremony, but in a way where we were all shocked as well as bystanders. But they say don't get involved, especially if it's your friend, right? You can't console them or let them go through that journey, because one particular person I remember, was screaming and shouting and making animal beast-like sounds, but they were reliving that experience that they had suppressed for their whole life. And coming out of that experience, it was a very hard experience that they had with their father. And they came out of the experience saying, I had to relive it to face my shadows and my fears and choose the choices I want in my life. I want to be a mother. I want to have a relationship that works. But I have been avoiding relationships with men because I was scared of what I went through. So this was something beautiful to see, although when we were in the ceremony, it felt very heavy and very dark, but it was so beautiful in the sharing circle at the end that this person did a 360 degrees.
Wow.
And really healed.
It's great to be among these people who really want to change their lives and together at this energy, shaping everyone's life for a better and new way of living is very interesting. And I think my medicine would be Kambo. I think it is really that I resonate with and takes me on a deeper level. And but I think these also experiences should be happening like in gaps, because what people believe is they have one of the experience, then they want to do another, but which I think is have once and integrate for a year at least, and then have another experience. That's what my understanding is. And I think it's really changing the life.
I think exactly what you said. Sit with what's come up with you, for you on that experience, and really reflect, why you wanted to do this experience, and has it opened your eyes and made you heal in different aspects. So definitely not doing, it shouldn't be an addictive process where, healing is addictive. Of course, you want to heal, you want to be the best version of yourself, but I think healing happens in that period between where you sit and pause and reflect and journal and discuss and chat about it. And this is where everything comes to light.
What would be the 13-year-old you saying to you right now as she looks up to you?
The journey will take you to places you've never ever expected. So enjoy the ride, because it will be life-changing and extraordinary.
Wow, I love it.
And so worth the struggle.
Oh, wow. You put the cherry on the cake. I love it. Super amazing. What are some ways, if someone is watching and they are into depression or anxiety, how they can become a better version of themselves through just small practice that you can tell them?
I would say awareness first, not being stuck in that thought process of whatever it is, usually a spiral down. Take yourself out of the situation, which is sometimes challenging. Like we said in COVID, you're not always able to remove yourself, but just be aware of your work environment, your family environment, your relationships, your friend circle. Be aware of those things that keep on reoccurring in your mind, that don't allow you to sleep at night, and do the work. What is going to make you feel at peace? Is it journaling? Is it meditating? Is it moving your body? There's so many different forms of releasing blocked energy that's stuck in your body. There's a beautiful book called The Body Keeps Score, and it talks about how we suppress emotions, and over time it becomes illness, and then over time it becomes disease. And if we don't nib it in the bud first, which is awareness of our anxiety, I think it will be a spiral down. And people say it's so hard, right? Don't tell me not to stress, because my mom always used to say that. Don't tell me to calm down, or don't tell me not to stress. How can I not stress? It's just something I do naturally. But it's the process, and she was a busybody. I never ever saw her garden. Well, actually, I did see her gardening a little bit, but she never did things that were therapeutic for her.
Okay.
And calming and relaxing. It can be a bubble bath, or, listening to your favorite calming music, or reading a book and having a cup of tea, whatever it is to slow down your process of overthinking. And it'll be different from person to person. Journaling, yeah, I like movements, just stepping out of the environment. If you have had an argument with someone, remove yourself, set boundaries. You're not abandoning anyone, but you are just creating space so that you can think, you can breathe.
Wow, this is a very nice tip. So, guys, you should know this. Like, change your environment and everything will change, to be frank. Very true. And so, this has been great. Super interesting conversations. What do you think? Whom can you call a hero? What does hero means to you?
A hero is definitely someone to look up to and inspire you and keep you motivated, someone you can constantly learn from, and someone who is constantly evolving. I think that's someone I look up to, not someone who's reached their pinnacle, but always learning, always gaining more knowledge, and always looking at different perspectives. This is a hero to me.
Wow, I love it. And when you talk about living life slowly at a slow pace, what does it exactly mean in today's hustle and bustle?
Chaotic world.
Yes.
Slowing down is slowing down your breath, slowing down your thoughts, slowing down your movements. It's difficult when we live in a city that is constantly go, 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 and everybody's in competition with each other. And I think there's a misconception about if you slow down, you become lazy. And I don't think that's the case. I think if you slow down, you become more clear and you become more productive. So it's setting time in your day for slowing down. And it's that therapeutic practice which allows you to calm your nervous system, which is essential for your day. Whether it's a YouTube video on a breathing exercise, or meeting your friends at a yoga class, or just having that cup of tea in the morning and saying, okay, this is my 10 minutes of not checking my phone and just sitting in stillness. It's so powerful.
Wow.
that Vipassana of 10,
10.
10 hours a day, definitely 10 minutes,
10 minutes.
is okay. They say if you can't meditate for 10 minutes, you're the person who needs to meditate even more than 10 minutes.
Oh, wow. Wow. I think meditation is the answer to so many problems out there right now. And for me also, I think it has been very tough meditating because my monkey mind is always like so many thoughts, so many things. But now I've started to increase more and more, and I've started to integrate breath work also. So I do a lot of breath work, which has been helping me. But I don't see a massive result. It's been a month, but I don't see a massive. But again, I think someone should be very patient for this. This is going to be years that you will try to notice that, oh, I was this and I'm now that. So just be very patient, I believe, right?
And again, there's so many different styles of breath work. You know, there's shamanic breath work, there's Nadi Shodhana, there's Kapalabhati. Some of them stimulate your nervous system and some of them calm your nervous system down. So it depends on what you want the outcome to be. But I definitely think breath work makes you feel better, because when you breathe better, you naturally feel better. So give it some time. But there's so many different styles of pranayama to practice, and increasing the oxygen flow to your brain is just naturally healthy.
That's great. That's great. So coming towards the last segment of this, I would like to ask you if we can do like 2 letters of laughter, like
Okay.
any 2 weird ones.
Okay. Well, I remember in the practice we were doing at the festival, we were doing like shy laughs and evil laughs. Why don't we do like an evil laugh and then a sound syllable laugh, right?
Okay, amazing.
Okay, so as silly as you look or feel, just let your facade go, your inhibitions go, and find that childlike joy. So a practice, even though it's forced laughing, of a evil laugh would be something like
Oh, wow. This is very amazing. Now the second one.
Okay, we can do a letter of H. So
H.
a laugh with, normally a laugh
Laugh.
with ha ha ha, but
Yeah, but he.
yeah, so
Yeah.
a forced laugh would be
Okay. Wow. Wow. Oh, wow. I'm red.
laughter is medicine.
Laughter is
For
medicine.
the soul.
So true. Wow. This has been very fascinating, very funny, very interesting, very inspiring, very educating. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
The
much.
star of the show, Vanessa.
Thank you for
Yeah,
having me.
I'm super happy to have you and sharing so much knowledge and all of your wisdom, which is going to help so many people out there. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste.